Judgment Day. 5 teams stand undefeated. 5 teams sit atop the polls. 5 teams have hopes for the national title. 5 teams still have the dream. Today, all that will change. For Nebraska, their #1 rankings in jeopardy as they invade Missouri. #3 Penn State hosts 4th-ranked Michigan in the Big Ten game of the year. Tonight, #2 Florida State charges into 5th-ranked North Carolina. Today is Judgment Day.
Winter gray clouds sagging with rain lie across Mount Nittany and over Happy Valley in the heart of Pennsylvania.
They challenged Charles Woodson, and Woodson intercepted it.
Omar and his friends stitching in for a profit as the faithful brave the elements to have a hoot and holler for the Lions. Venus, touchdown! Every seat sold at Beaver Stadium, but rain has softened the field, and handling the folate spheroid may be tricky. But bad weather or no, it's a big one in college football. Battle of the unbeaten, #4 Michigan, coming to challenge #3 Penn State. Hello again, everybody, and welcome. This is one of those games that matters mightily in college football, especially since it is on the 2nd Saturday in November. And these are elements that will be impacted by what happens here today. They include the Big Ten Conference Championship, the Rose Bowl, a possible invitation to an Alliance Bowl, the National Championship, and the Heisman Trophy. Now, if that doesn't whet your appetite, you're watching the wrong channel. Now we're waiting for the Penn State Nittany Lions to make their entry before the home folks, a sellout crowd at Beaver Stadium.
It's Judgment Day on ABC. 1954, the last time the top 5 teams were unbeaten this late in the season. Our Judgment Day poll, we started last week. Over 150,000 votes have been cast. Who's #1? Most people feel, regardless of the Nebraska-Missouri outcome, that the winner of the Michigan-Penn State game should be #1. That number jumps to 70% if Nebraska loses. And don't forget, tonight on ESPN, 7:30 Eastern Time, Florida State against North Carolina, both unbeaten. Todd Blackledge, how do you see things?
Well, first of all, in the Big 12, I think Missouri will come out today with great emotion early, but Nebraska, too many horses. The Huskers win easily. Neither Mike McQuarrie nor the Penn State defense has played particularly well the last couple weeks. I think both parties answered the bell today. Penn State plays their most complete game, wins a close one at home. And tonight in Chapel Hill, North Carolina knocks the king off the mountain in the ACC because the Heels are able to establish a better run-pass balance in a game of two great defenses. When the day's done, here's how I see the top three. Nebraska holds on at number 1, followed by Penn State and North Carolina, who close the gap.
We'll keep you up to date all day long. It's Judgment Day. Let's get out to your game.
Here we go. Tails the toss. Heads it in.
All right, Penn State won the toss. Referee David Whitvote indicating that the Michigan Wolverines will have the ball first. We turn now to Bob Greasy. And Bob, Michigan's offense this season has been a slow starter.
Well, they have, but you don't win games in the first quarter. This game will be won in the fourth quarter. Michigan is a ball control team. They want to take the ball, get to the fourth quarter, and beat you then. I expect to see a lot more of Charles Woodson on offense this week. Last week he played 1/3 of the offensive plays. I think this week they're going to need him to play offense to make an impact.
What do you think Jerry Sandusky does in the Penn State defense?
I think he's going to blitz. I think he's going to try and stop the run with his run blitzes and stop the screen passes.
And probably the other side will do the same thing.
Well, on the other side, you got Curtis Enos. He is one of the outstanding backs in the country. Now, they played one ranked opponent this year. That was Ohio State. He rushed for 200 yards, but they play Michigan. They're the #1 ranked defense in the country. The thing I'm excited about, I think you're going to see a lot of balls thrown at Charles Woodson today. He hasn't been challenged all year, but today I think he will.
So we've got all of the things in place as Lloyd Carr brings his ball club to town with a record of 25-8 as the head coach there in his 3rd year. And of course, Joe Paterno's been here forever. And he's as close to a living legend as anybody I guess I have ever seen. And he still approaches a game like this with great gusto. So we're ready to play football at Beaver Stadium, State College, Pennsylvania. The ball is in the air by Travis Forney, and it is Anthony Thomas, the freshman running back for Michigan, popping out of the crowd and going all the way out to the 35-yard line. He was a step and a half from breaking something big. The Chile starting lineup now for the Michigan Wolverines offensive front. The left side, Hutchinson and Backus, redshirt freshmen, developing well. This entire group has been very good. The receivers, wideouts have not delivered for Michigan. The tight ends have 22 receptions. The backs, key here's Chris Floyd, fine blocking back, playing with a sore shoulder. Eventually, however, we believe that quarterback Brian Greasy, just like Penn State quarterback Mike McQuarrie, will have to step up and win it in the fourth quarter. Greasy on the roll, steps away from pressure. Pass is down the sideline, and it is incomplete, out of bounds. High Street was not on the playing field. The defense for Penn State, the front, that's a group that just hunkers down and plays football. They're not big, but they fight you. The linebackers, Collins, Maurice Daniels is in for Brandon Short to start, and Nelson, they're heady and steady and solid. They have 98 solo tackles altogether. The DBs are not very big. Young David Macklin blocked 2 punts, remember, a year ago against Michigan. Greasy hands the ball inside, and a good effort by Chris Howard, number 8. He is a 216-pounder from River Ridge, Louisiana, and he picks up a first down on his first carry. Now we check in with our colleague Lynn Swan.
Well, Keith, the weather here is going to play an important factor, but the ground crew here has done a phenomenal job of making sure this field is in great shape. It's rained every day except for Wednesday and Thursday, and that's important because Thursday they cut the grass, which means they won't have that slick surface. But you really have to plant to make sure you don't slip because we have constant rain, Keith.
Still drizzling away as we come to the ball game. The temperature's in the 40s, and here's a play over the left side again for Chris Howard. And Howard's going to pick up 8 yards on that carry before David Macklin, the cornerback, can come up and get him. So the first 2 running plays for Michigan look pretty strong, Bob.
And these are plays that Penn State have been working on all week. Michigan doesn't run a lot of plays, Keith. They run several plays, 3 or 4 or 5 different plays from a lot of different formations. That bodes well for Michigan if they get their running game going early.
Anthony Thomas now steps in. Clarence Williams is not here. He did not make the trip. He has a hamstring pull, and it's Thomas with the ball. Thomas finds room over the left side, and he's in there for another Michigan first down as he reaches the Penn State 41-yard line. Chino Prater on the tackle. Thomas is a big guy. He's 6'2", 228, 29 pounds. from Winfield, Louisiana. Just a freshman. Put it right at the 42 on the Penn State side of the field. First down for the Wolverines. Greasy back. His pass is pitched to the outside, and falling down is Anthony Thomas, and he had daylight. He had green grass in front of him, but he tripped and fell.
Penn State defensively, Keith, they're not real big. Here's a look at total defense in the nation. They're 59th, and they're 45th against the run. They are smart, they are intelligent, they have a lot of character, and they play hard, they hustle everywhere, but they are not a dominant defense. Sandusky telling us that yesterday.
And here's Charles Woodson into the ball game for the first time on offense. He is at the top of the picture in the slot. One of two wideouts up there. Woodson, the celebrated defender. The ball is slapped down at the line of scrimmage. Greasy was trying to throw the ball to him. Woodson immediately drew double coverage, and standing right in front of him and the ball was Jim Nelson. So it's obvious that if he's in the short zone, one of those outside backers is going to be in his face.
And if you're keeping track, that's one offensive play for Woodson, and one time they tried to go to him. I'm sure that Jerry will keep that in his mind.
So it is third down and 16, and Woodson now is going to be at the bottom of your picture, out of the shotgun. Greasy gets away from the pressure, gets his pass away. It's too high, and it's incomplete. Intended for Woodson. There is a penalty flag. The penalty flag is thrown where Greasy was taken down by Brandon Short, who has come into the ball game. David Whitboat is the referee. Roughing the passer against Penn State. So that is a fortuitous call for the Michigan Wolverines.
Joe was complaining yesterday when we had lunch with him about the silly penalties, and this is certainly one. This would have forced a punt. There is no question that that is a foul. I'm sure that every defensive team, Keith, wants to come out and get to the quarterback, intimidate him, hit him, knock him down. Right. I'm sure that was in both locker rooms before they came out. That was just a little bit late.
Brandon Short, who had been injured and has come back. He did not play last week. In fact, I don't think he even made the trip over to Northwestern, and he might be just a tad rusty. He did practice this week, but as Bob said, it's an effort to get in and get to that quarterback early on. It's important. So the penalty makes it a first down at the 32-yard line. Opening possession of the ball game. No score. Shaw is the man in motion. It's Howard, and Howard is hit behind the line of scrimmage. This time it's Brandon Short, and he got his man, and he rejoices in a penalty-free moment.
Brandon Short was hurt in the Ohio State game 3 games ago, and he tried to get back in the following game, and he went to Sandusky on the sideline, says, "Coach, I can play. I can play." The 43 right in the middle of your screen, Sandusky said, "No, no, no." So he went to Joe Paterno. Paterno relented, let him in. He re-injured it. Now he's missed the last 2 ball games.
And it's second down, 11. Greasy back to throw. Bryan puts it down the middle. The pass is caught by Jeremy Tooman, his tight end. And the tight ends of Michigan continue as the primary receivers. That'll be put on the 25-yard line, and will be about 3 yards short of a first down.
Michigan, Keith, to be successful, as you well know, they have got to get their tight ends involved in the passing game. Tooman is an outstanding player. Take a look from behind the defense. Safety. Defensive backs are small. Tooman is 6'5".
So it's 3rd and 3 for the Wolverines. They're throwing for it. Greasy hit, but gets the ball off. Thrown hard, caught at the 20, and caught for a first down again by Jeremy Tooman. And Bryan threw a bullet, but he stuffed it right in there, and big Jeremy hauled it in.
Well, 2 nice plays here. One by Bryan to get away from the sacker and to keep it alive. And then Tooman, who was well covered. Take a look. 44 is Nelson. Gets a free shot and misses. And then just a good coverage.
And Macklin's all over it.
Yeah, but he's just too small. He's 5'9". He's covering 6'5" Tooman. First down.
So at 10:50 to go in the first quarter, it's first down. Michigan at the Penn State 20-yard line, and this is Chris Howard hammering into the middle. Chris coming off some cracked ribs. He moves the ball for 4 yards down to the 16. So the Wolverines trying to depart from what has been their norm, and that is falling behind in the first half. In 6 of the 8 games they've played, they have been behind in the first half.
Michigan has done very well inside the 20-yard line. 87% of the time they have scored.
This is a typical Michigan possession, too. It's the 11th play of the drive, so they just nickel and dime it down the field. That's Thomas, the big freshman running back, and he penetrates to about the 11-yard line. They've got to go to the 10, and I mean exactly on the 10 to get their first down. Let's see where they have marked his progress. They put him at the 12, and it'll be 2 yards on 3rd down. Very soft, light little cool rain. Ooh, my foot, it's cold. They're down in 2. Thomas didn't get it. Nelson and Matt Fornato came in and took his feet away. Big Jim Nelson was slammed in there and went low to get him.
Take a look, this play is going to be right up the middle. It's just going to be right up the center. Go ahead and run it.
Craig Baker is in for a field goal try. Baker, who is 12 out of 16, and this will be a 29-yarder. Brian Greasy will hold it and put it down just inside the 20. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So at 8 minutes and 52 seconds, Penn State survives the touchdown but yields the field goal, and the Wolverines take the lead. So the Michigan Wolverines use 6 minutes and 8 seconds, march it down for a 29-yard field goal to lead 3-0. And now we're ready for the kickoff as Jay Feely will kick it away for Michigan. Chris Eberly and Kenny Watson are the deep people, 23 and 22 respectively. Dark gray afternoon. Good sailing kick. Eberly takes it at the 1. And back across the 20 to about the 24-25-yard line. The Chile starting lineup for the Penn State Nittany Lions. The offensive front, you might want to watch left tackle here, especially on the pass blocking. The strength for Penn State's offensive front would seem to be run blocking. The receivers, the tight ends, may be the most obvious today. They're good ones. They've had 2 catches in the last 2 games for Juravicius, the big wideout. In the backfield, everybody knows about Curtis Enos, but this one eventually we think will hang with quarterback Mike McQuarrie, and he will have to make some good decisions, and it may be in the 4th quarter. But the big redhead brings him up now to the line of scrimmage, and here's your first play. Pressure coming, sacked, It is Glenn Steele, number 81, who fought his way through the traffic. A slow developing play action thing that was blown apart by the rush of Glenn Steele.
What they were doing, Keith, it was a play action pass, a fake reverse, which is what took so long. Take a look, they're going to fake it this way, and the reverse is going to be coming back the other direction.
Yeah, Chaffee Fields.
The Chaffee Fields, they're trying to go right at Woodson with Juravicius, and they took too long to get there. He was covered anyway.
So it is 2nd down and 20 on the play. And they go to the I formation. That's the 5th sack of the season for Glenn Steele, who has really been playing well. This ball is handed off, going to the left side and up to about the 20-yard line for Curtis Enos. The Michigan defense lines up this way. It's one of the best in the country, 5th in the nation against the rush. Steele, Rennis, and Williams really going at it now. The linebacker, sophomore Deanna Jones, has come like a rocket. Number 56, James Hall, could be a tormentor today for McQuarrie. The defensive secondary as good as any in the country. There are 15 interceptions among the 9 players who have played back there. So it's 3rd down and 16 now for Penn State as the Lions start in a bit of a hole. Scioli, number 5, tied in with the man in motion. And McQuarrie looking to pass. Pressure coming. Got him again. This time it is Joaquin Frizzell. And the Nittany Lions now will have to punt from deep in their own territory, and Michigan, if they handle the ball, should get good field position.
We've got 2 of the classic uniforms in college football, and if you're wearing the one with the winged helmet on it, you're starting out pretty good. The offense moved it down for 3 points, and the defense, 2 plays, 2 sacks out of the 3 plays total.
Pat Pigeon doing the punting, gets a good one away. It's a beauty, a high hanger coming down out of the clouds. The reception made by Charles Woodson. Woodson covered well, and Michigan comes out of it with the football at their own 45-yard line, a 47-yard punt. ABC Sports presentation of college football, brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, this is the taste. And by Microsoft. Where do you want to go today? Sellout house, Beaver Stadium, Michigan leading 3-0, second possession starting at their own 45-yard line. Chris Howard, the deep back, play action, Greasy throws, man wide open, pass caught by Jeremy Truman, the tight end, and it'll go over to the Penn State side of the field at about the 37-yard line. Let's spend a moment with John Saunders.
Keith, time for the Burger King update. Nebraska against Missouri. Corby Jones, you got to love this guy at quarterback running the option. This time back to pass. Runs out of a tackle, takes off, 18 yards, almost gets it into the end zone, but close enough to set up Brock Olivo. Missouri on top of Nebraska. It's early. Keith, back to you.
Thank you, John. Larry Smith, great season. First down, Wolverines. Ball handed to Chris Howard again. Slants over the right side, picks up a couple of 3 yards on that carry, and we're at 6:15 to go in the first quarter.
Michigan certainly has the upper hand here. I thought that first down pass call by Mike DeBord was a big one. The Lions were blitzing. That is one of the staples. What's one of the plays that Michigan runs all the time? It's the counter, the bootleg, the tight end coming across, and that's what got this drive going on first down.
Truman has caught 3 passes, 31 yards. Chris Howard, 5 carries, 24 yards. Reese back to throw it. Looking around, takes off. Had a hole over the right side. Got away from one. Gets his first down as he's knocked out of bounds at about the 45-yard line by David Macklin.
This kid's a quarterback, not a fullback.
First down, Michigan.
But everybody was covered. Good read by Brian. He looks downfield, and he just takes off.
Yeah, there ain't no speed genes in that family that I've seen.
Oh, just be nice.
Russell Shaw is the man in motion. This is Howard back in traffic. Good cut by Howard, and he is taken down at the 16-yard line, just inside the 17. Aaron Collins and Brandon Short, the 2 linebackers, got him.
It's the offensive line of Michigan, Backus and Hutchinson, Adamy, Zeman, and Jansen that are opening the holes early in this ball game, Keith.
Aaron Shea was in for a moment at the double tight end alignment, and now Campbell goes in, replacing him, number 88. They had a pretty good week. Each of them caught 3 passes last week in the absence of Truman. It is second down and about a yard. Ball goes to Chris Howard over the top, and he's got the first down at about the 11. Dave Grant is now in at the right guard position. He played there last week in relief of Zeman, who was a bit dinged up, and did a good job.
This offensive line is winning the battle. You hear about Big Ten football in November. Well, we've got this type of day, Keith. It's overcast, it's rainy, it's cold, and you better be able to run the football, and this is what's going on. Physical play in that offensive-defensive line.
The freshman Anthony Thomas comes in as the deep back, replacing Chris Howard, who may still be a little bit tender. Thomas gets the ball going outside. Got good speed. Headed the corner. Touchdown, Michigan. The big block came from Steve Hutchinson, one of those redshirt freshmen on the left side of the line. So the offensive line of Michigan, so far, the big story of this ball game.
No question about it, Keith. The offensive line taking it to him, and the play calling of Mike DeBord, mixing it up on first down.
Craig Baker for the point. It's good. 4 minutes and 41 seconds to go in the first quarter, and the Michigan Wolverines have jumped out to a 10-0 lead. bit surprising. Michigan out to a 10-0 lead in the first quarter. They have started rather slowly in most of the games they played offensively. But not today.
Maybe a carryover of how Penn State has been playing, Keith, the last couple of weeks.
Could be. Their last 3 games, they've won by a total of 8 points. This is Chris Everly from a yard deep in the end zone. You can hear the whack and crack all the way out to here as he's taken down at the 21.
Look at the touchdown, Keith. The guard right here, that's Hutchinson's going to get a nice block. And Shea, the tight end, is also going to get a nice block. Watch as both those guys pull. Right there, one block and another block, or at least a half a block on Macklin, allows Thomas for the score. Shea gets through. It's tough to bring that guy down, even though he's a freshman.
He's a big kid, isn't he? 229 pounds. The ball is out at the, call it the 22-yard line, where it's a first down for Penn State. McQuarrie stands up, throws quickly. Not much there for Chaffee Fields. As Fields got the ball, he was decked immediately by Andre Weathers, number 30.
Keith, the pressure is already on the Penn State offense. This defense is one of the best in the country. They lead the nation in fewest points allowed, and total defense and pass defense. Penn State opened the game with a flea flicker. It was going to be a reverse pass to Jurevicius, so they were wide open coming in. They were going to loosen things up. Now Joe says, let's get back, get some confidence for our offense.
They've had 4 plays, and 3 of them have been loss of yardage, and Penn State's moving. Penn State moving ahead of the ball, so clearly the Nittany Lions are rattled right now, trailing 10-0, and just made another mistake. Brad Scioli, the tight end, seemed to be the man who moved too soon. So the false start flags them. Next Saturday, live at 3:30 Eastern, America's biggest road show will be rolling right along. You've got North Carolina, Clemson, Washington, UCLA, Colorado, Kansas State, and we'll have a Big Ten matchup, which we hope we can tell you about before we leave. So check your local listing.
Is the band playing America's biggest road show?
Yes, they are, and we appreciate the Big Blue Band helping us out with some music. And this is Curtis Enos with his first big run of the day. The big guy from Ohio, pounding along, gets it out across the 25-yard line.
Curtis Enos is going to have to be a force to be dealt with. Blick, number 78, the big offensive tackle, is going to get out in front of him. But Enos is big and powerful, but yet he's shifty. Right there, the defensive back, I believe it was Henrys, came up and didn't make the tackle.
Just powerful legs. You can't arm tackle this guy, boy. You got to wrap him. He is a powerful man. McQuarrie back. Has some time now, looking around, can't find. Takes off. He runs better than you might think, but he pays a bit of a price there as he is slammed to the ground at the 30-yard line by Ian Gold.
That just shakes me when I see those quarterbacks downfield lowering their head. Mike, get down, get as much as you can, and then get down. Keith, I had an interesting phone call last night. I'll tell you about it in a minute.
Well, Mike's 222 pounds, so he's not a gimme at 6'4".
Has to do with Mike McQuarrie.
Pat Pigeon is in for his second punt. First one was a dandy, 47 yards, 2:20 to go first quarter. Waiting for it is Charles Woodson. High hanging kick. If he gets him up there all day long, they won't be able to retain it. Fumbled. But Woodson gets to it quickly. However, he's inside his own 20-yard line when he gets possession. So the kicking game for Penn State looks pretty good. That's a 50-yarder.
If there is a plus on the kicking side, it definitely has a blue shirt on.
That one got up in the clouds and got wet.
Very high. Woodson has done this all year. I've never seen him drop one. This may be the first one he drops, and he's fortunate to get it back with 2 Lions there fighting for it.
Now the crowd starts to come alive a little bit. They were pretty quiet there for a while. 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. From the 19-yard line for Michigan, Gracie hands the ball to Chris Howard, and he's out across the 20.
Keith, what you're going to see now is, I think, Sandusky's defense become a little bit more aggressive. They're going to do run blitzes to stop that running game and play more man-to-man coverage and force Michigan to throw to their wide receivers, which they haven't done in the last few games.
Well, the receivers have not been productive. On second down and 8, it's run the ball up the middle again, and Chris Howard is at the 25-yard line, so they'll be looking at 3rd and 3 as Brandon Short makes another tackle for the Lions.
Brandon Short has been all over the field, Keith. I mean, he has really made a difference since he's been in there. The only bad play he made was that late hit on Brian that kept the drive going on the first drive of the ball game. Gave a first down on 3rd and 15.
3rd down, call it 4. Double tight end. Greasy's pass thrown outside, turned upside down. The tackle by Derek Fox, a member of the Ohio Foxes, if you will. And he made a big play, and that will send the Michigan punter into the ball game. Jason Benson in the kick. Benson averaging on the year just a bit over 41 yards per punt.
You're talking about Mr. Fox. I mean, 4 uncles that went to Ohio State.
Ohio State,
yeah.
Yes. One wandered off down to Pennsylvania. Benson gets it out. It's a pretty good kick, but the Lions are going to have their best field position of the game. However, it should have been caught by Chris Eberle. He gave up about 15 yards and letting the ball roll down the field. Tonight on ABC, all new episodes of C-16 starring Eric Roberts, Steve Botzko's Total Security, and Dylan McDermott with Laura Flynn Boyle in The Practice. A brand new drama tonight, prime time on ABC. Only 14 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Penn State gets the ball at their own 29-yard line. One big run so far by Curtis Enos in the game. McQuarrie back. Thereafter, his pass is away. The pass is incomplete. Sam Sword, number 92, defending on Cuncho Brown, the tight end.
Sword has the tight end on coverage. The middle linebacker. That's just a nice play. First down passing again. Franny Ganner, the offensive coordinator, trying to get something going against this Michigan defense.
8 seconds. This should be the last play of the quarter. Second down and 10. Brown moves over. 5-man front for the Wolverine defense on this play. McQuarrie gets his pass off and it's completed to Bob Stevenson, and Stevenson dealt it out of bounds with a first down. He is in at fullback, number 80. He's a tight end who moved over. Remember, they are without their first 2 fullbacks, Jason Sloan and Aaron Harris.
And they may be without Stevenson. It's Taylor and Stevenson on the sideline, and I haven't seen either one of them move yet. Watch this collision.
Wow. Woo. That's powerful. That is Penn State's first down, and they may have paid a big price. You got a timeout for the injured player. We played a quarter. Michigan leads it 10-0.
still dealing with an injury at that Michigan-Penn State game. Meanwhile, Nebraska and Missouri, it's a 7-0 lead for Missouri. Scott Frost takes off in the quarterback draw, and he's into the end zone 17 yards. That one ties the game at 7 apiece. That's where they stand now. As you can see, about 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Elsewhere, Wisconsin holds on for the win against Iowa. 8-2 now Wisconsin is. 13-10 is the final there. As Eddie Faulkner, replacing Ron Dane, had 119 yards rushing and a touchdown. Right now, let's take it back to Keith Jackson.
All right, John, thanks very much. Dejian Taylor and Bob Stevenson both are up and walking off, but they knocked each other out on that collision. There's no question about it. I mean, it was a horrendous lick.
It's a big-time game, Keith, big-time programs, and that was a big-time hit.
But it's first down for Penn State now as they cross to the 48-yard line. For the first time, I moved up close to midfield, and this mistake by Rob Rennis in the center of the Michigan defense is going to put Penn State over on the Michigan side of the field for the first time as we start play in the second quarter. But Dejian Taylor and Bob Stevenson are both up and about and are on their respective sidelines.
There's Taylor. He was the defensive back that, here it is here. Taylor coming from the right side. It's not a cheap shot. It's not helmet to helmet. It's his shoulder into his other shoulder, and it was just Stevenson was out, and so was Taylor.
So it's 1st and 5 now for Penn State as Curtis Enos slams over the right side and is close to a first down before Jones and Sword bring him down.
Well, Keith, Bob Stevenson came over to the bench. They had to help him to the bench. They were standing around him, a lot of medical staff, and they were all laughing. Apparently, he was talking, saying a couple of funny things. His dad came out of the stands, is just now walking back up in the stands, so he seems to be assured his son is okay. He's standing up, he's walking around talking to people. Their trainers do not give us information, so we can't tell you specifically what his injury was, Keith.
Got his bell rung.
Yeah, he just looked like he got his bell rung. Maybe even got knocked out.
Yep, looked like he was knocked out. This is the try for the first down by the fullback Anthony Cleary, a 251-pounder, and Anthony's got the first down for the Nittany Lions. That will be their second of the ball game.
And Cleary can't afford to get hurt, Keith, because with Stevenson going down, they've already lost 2 other fullbacks this year, Aaron Harris and Jason Slode. So he is the 4th of 4 fullbacks that started out at that position this year, and he is one heck of a blocker.
41-yard line of Michigan now, and a first down for the Nittany Lions with Enos the deep man. And Enos has the ball in the traffic. Hit and taken down by number 93, Sam Sword. So as Curtis tried to pull his spin into the middle, Sword was waiting for him.
Here's a look at the first quarter numbers. It was all Michigan. 8 first downs to only 1 for Penn State, 21-8 in the number of plays, and time of possession, Michigan is second in the Big Ten in that category. That's the way they play offense.
It's called a 2-yard loss on the play. Make it 2nd down and 12 as the ball comes back to the 43-yard line. Enos in traffic, gets back a yard. It's going to be like 3rd down and 11.
I mentioned I got a call at the hotel last night. It was from a Penn State fan, but he was not irate. It was John McQuarrie, who was Mike McQuarrie's father, and he said, I read the article in the paper about you and your son, and he says, I'm very happy. I know how it feels to be at a ball game with your son. I'm glad that you're here. And he says, I'm going to be sitting down in the stands, and maybe, even though it might be cold and wet, I think I'm going to enjoy the game a little easier than you might up there in that booth calling the game.
McQuarrie back to throw it, slips a little bit, now gets the pass away. Look out for this one. It's Matt Woodson. Juravicius going down under it is begging for a little help here, but he doesn't get it, and the pass is incomplete.
Well, we told you that this matchup would be there. Juravicius on Woodson. Last year, Juravicius did some damage against Michigan. Here it is, one-on-one. You can jam him before the ball's in the air. Juravicius is 6'5" and can jump.
The punt is away. Third punt for Pigeon. He's trying to hang it and kill it deep, but knocks it into the end zone. It'll come out to the 20. That time against Woodson, he was not able to shield Woodson with that big body.
Still, he almost came down with it, but he's got that big body. He does a great job of shielding the other guy away.
Defensively for Penn State, Karpakis, number 37, is in there. He's been under load this year. He's been playing very well. First down for Michigan from their own 20-yard line. Greasy, play action, rolls out, pulls it down, gets some help from Shea, the tight end, cuts it back onto the field. Still going, and finally brought down by Gino Prater. And the last time Brian Greasy ran that far, his dad was chasing him with a stick.
With the oxygen. I tell you, I gave that kid something right here. I used to run this way in the old days. Nobody believes that he's going to run it. They all think he's going to throw it. They're laying back. They can't believe that he ran it.
And it's first down Michigan at the Penn State 40-yard line. That's the longest one of the year for Brian Greasy. Give it to somebody else here, Chris Howard, and Howard trips a bit, actually tripped over Aaron Shea as he went up the middle of the Michigan offensive front is handling the Penn State defensive front better than Ohio State was able to do it when the Buckeyes was here. And if you remember, Ohio State jumped out to a 10-0 lead in that ball game, too, just as Michigan has in this one.
And the Lions have a couple backups. You mentioned Karpakis, Ransom, 77 is in there, one defensive tackle.
Ball is on the 37-yard line. We're at second down and 7 now. Greasy back to throw, down the middle, wide open. It's Woodson, touchdown, Michigan. Charles Woodson in the slot. Broke free in the middle. There was nobody around him. Broken coverage by Penn State. 37-yard touchdown.
Jerry Sandusky cannot believe it. Says if anything, when Woodson comes in the game, we should have two guys there. We had nobody covering it, and Greasy found it.
So that'll send a bit of a quieting mood through this huge crowd at Beaver Stadium. Craig Baker for the extra point. It is good. And at 11:07 to play in the first half, they go 3 plays, 80 yards, and Michigan leads Penn State by a score of 17-0. Michigan 17-0 over Penn State. Startling? Yes. Jay Feely will kick it off. Eberle waiting with Kenny Watson for Penn State to receive it. Driving kick to the 4-yard line. It's Eberle. Breaks out of the pack and is knocked out of bounds up around the 34-yard line, and a penalty flag is thrown up around the 39.
Here's Woodson here. He's going to go straight down. Fox is the man that misses the jam on him. Fox is going to try and get a jam. Woodson just gets around him and goes straight up the field. Throws the ball over Collins, number 6. Here he is right here going straight down the middle of the field. Go ahead. Throws it over Collins, right down the middle of the field. A missed assignment. Somebody needed to be in the middle of the field. Either Fox, number 4, was responsible man-to-man, or the safety on that other side should have been in the middle of the field.
And on the kickoff, Penn State is flagged after the run by Eberle, during the run by Eberle, for holding. And so the good run, which would have given them the ball up around the 35-yard line, negated by a 10-yard penalty, puts them back at the 24.
Penn State offensively needs to settle down and get some momentum going. They have not done anything. Their last possession was 7 plays. They moved it a little bit, but they need some confidence against this Michigan defense.
Jurevicius goes in motion. Hand the ball to Enos. Enos is stacked up in the middle of the line. Hendricks, number 41, coming up out of the secondary to help on the play, but the big guy down at the bottom is Rob Rennis, the middle guard, or nose tackle. Today is Judgment Day in college football. Tell us what you think. Which team's number 1 on the polls? You can vote now. America Online, keyword ABC Sports, or on the internet at ESPN.com, and stay tuned for the poll results. Put the ball just over the 25-yard line. Make it 2nd down and 9. McQuarrie throws, and it is off the hands of Anthony Cleary, the fullback, trying to break to the sideline. Penn State uses that play. They've used that play as long as I can remember. And that time it was a little bit off the target, and Cleary couldn't
Somebody
reel it in.
needs to make a play, Keith. Either Cleary catches that ball. Franny Ganner, the offensive coordinator, saying yesterday that Michigan defensively, the defensive line, Williams, 91, and Steele, and Arenas and Hall can dominate the offensive line by themselves. They don't have to blitz all that much.
Chaffee Fields is in now, and he's the man that some people thought might have some success against the Michigan secondary. McQuarrie back, gets away from the pressure and lets it go downfield for Chaffee Fields, and it is incomplete. He was running right at Woodson, and it'll be 4th down for Penn State.
To Keith, then I thought he threw the ball downfield when Mike had a guy running a square in that he could have picked the 1st down up on. But instead he goes deep the field, who is the fastest guy on the team. If you're going to complete that one, you got to throw it more across field, let him run under it.
Pat Pigeon's 4th punt now in the first half, 47, 48, and 43. He's done a good job. He didn't get a whole lot of this one, however, and it's going to kick sideways and roll toward the sidelines, and Michigan's going to have very good field position. 1st down at about their own 43, only a 32-yard kick.
Keith, I want to finish up on the story about the collision between Anderson and Taylor. Dadrian Taylor, number 28, was taken off the field to have x-rays done. Now, he was fine. The doctors and the trainers indicated that they felt he was okay. Matter of fact, he saw the Woodson touchdown, and he was cheering for him as he went out the tunnel. But they're taking him over as a precautionary measure. So if he's got families watching him, he's okay. They're just taking every precaution, and he's getting x-rays, Keith.
Thank you, Swanee. Good to know. I'm sure Mom feels a lot better about it. On the 43, 1st down for the Wolverines. Here coming around, it's Woodson on a reverse, but now there's a lot of blue shirts after him, and they're going to get him. So the reverse that Woodson ran a week ago alerted Penn State, and they were having none of it here.
Well, more than that, I mean, Woodson was lined up into the short side of the field. They try a reverse back to the wide side. Jerry Sandusky, the defensive coordinator, says if you let that guy run 2 big plays back-to-back on us, I'm going to kill you. You can be sure that every defensive guy on the sideline was hollering for Woodson.
And don't you doubt for a minute that fella, that mild-looking gentleman right there, he can light your fire.
He's fine.
He really is. This is Howard, and Chris Howard getting some help downfield. And it's Brandon Short who reached out and got him and saved a touchdown. Brandon Short with another big defensive play. Great blocking by Anthony Thomas for Michigan. And here's John Saunders.
Keith, Missouri down 14-7 to Nebraska, but their quarterback at it again. Not running this time, throwing. Corby Jones, 18 yards to Torrey Coleman. It's a touchdown, and they tie the game at 14 apiece. Meanwhile, Oregon is beating Washington in the Pac-10. Keith, back to you.
I'm not surprised at that. Oregon has always been pesky for Washington. This is Anthony Thomas carrying the ball for Michigan, and he's down to about the 35-yard line for a pickup of 5 yards on the play. So Nebraska and Missouri are even, and Oregon's beaten Washington with Sheehy out. And Brock Heward not starting today because he's re-injured that ankle he hurt in the Nebraska game. So the Huskies have their hands full.
You got to win with your backups. You're not always going to have your first-team players in there.
And Washington's going to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena next Saturday against UCLA, which is off this week. It's 2nd down and 5 for Michigan. Here's a little bit of a delay. Goes to Thomas, and Thomas finds his way through the traffic to the 30, and that should be a 1st down.
Keith, although Charles Woodson isn't on offense right now, I think one of the reasons why they can use him so much at this point in the ball game is the fact that in the entire first quarter, Michigan's defense was only on the field for 8 plays, Keith, only 8 plays. That means that Michigan's offense is controlling the football. They move it down the field. You know, they come into this ball game having driven the ball over 90 yards 5 times prior to this ball game. If you can do that, you can keep your defense fresh. And if your defense is fresh, that means that Charles Woodson can play a little more offense for you when you need him.
That's a good point, Swanee, about Michigan's defense not playing much in the first quarter, so you can spend more time with Woodson playing offense. Lloyd Carr said early in the season, he said, in September and early October when it's hot, I may not use him as much both ways, but when it gets cooler, I may use him more on offense.
Well, here's the numbers. Michigan's rushing game, 19 carries, 117 yards here in the first half. And that clearly defines it. That's a pickup of about 2 yards on that carry by Chris Howard. But the Lions locked that one up pretty quickly. And there's a gain only of a yard, so we'll call it 2nd down and 9. And our clock shows 8 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the first half. 17-0, Michigan. And that man right there, Jerry Sandusky, is not a happy camper with his defense.
Look at what Michigan has done in a little over a quarter and a half.
Rishi back throws, and it is caught. And it is good to about the 20 to Russell Shaw. So one of the infrequent moments of success with a wide receiver. And Shaw's short of his 1st down, but not by much.
Receiver here, Shaw is going to get it. He's going to come right in here. Now run it, and I'll show you something. Now stop it right about. Run it a little bit further and stop it right there. Look, Michigan screens so much. Look at all the Lions out there ready to play the screen. That's because they throw so many screens that Sandusky's got him looking for the screen to throw the ball downfield.
3rd and 1, long one. It's Chris Howard, brought down by Aaron Collins, and he's got a 1st down at the Penn State 19-yard line.
Howard leads this Wolverine team, Keith, in receptions and in rushing. Came in with 24 catches on the year. He's a tough runner.
Let's go offense!
A lot of steam coming up in those guys as they hunker down. It's cold. Reese still got it on a rollout. Pulls it down, and tiptoes out of bounds down around the 15-yard line. Aaron Collins was over there, and Brian didn't want any part of him. Yeah, I don't blame him.
Collins is an academic All-American, and
that's right. Brian and Aaron Collins both have won those $18,000 foundation scholarships.
yeah, he called me last week. He says, I saved you 18 grand. He says, I got a postgraduate scholarship from the football foundation.
That's terrific. Aaron Collins got one.
Collins is a good player. Making his 33rd start for the Lions here today.
Second down and long 5, call it 6. Pass to the sidelines. Pass is caught by Anthony Thomas out of the backfield, and they're going to put him out of bounds at the 8-yard line. And that will be 1st and goal, Michigan.
Keith, I just want to put a little exclamation mark behind Aaron Collins and that scholarship. You know, he's one of 19 children, and he's got that scholarship. Everybody in his family, except for one of the kids, has earned a scholarship to college. And the reason why the one hasn't earned a scholarship, well, he's not ready for college yet, Keith.
We haven't had one yet, right, Lynn?
I mean, they got another he in that group?
Wow.
Oh,
Yes,
my
he is.
gosh, is he a linebacker, too? Chris Howard from 1st and goal at the 8, and he's going to stop right about the line of scrimmage, and it's Aaron Collins, number 6, along with Matt Fornattle, who makes the hit.
Number 6, Aaron Collins, has been around. He's a 5th-year senior. He's one of the leaders on this ball club. Good play defensively. They need somebody to step up and make a play here to stop, at least force Michigan to try a field goal.
Second down and goal from the 8-yard line. Thomas joins Howard in the backfield now. Different kind of a formation. Greasy throws, and it is touchdown. Jeremy Truman. So the big tight end reels it in at the goal line and tumbles down in hallelujah land.
The Michigan offense, Keith, has just been methodical, and they've just taken the ball down and scored and made the plays when they've had to make them.
Joe Shuck, his coach, he's steaming. The extra point try is good. So it's Michigan 24, Penn State nothing, with 6 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the first half. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Marriott Hotels, Resorts, and Suites. We believe when you're comfortable, you can do anything. By Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Velo from Philip Magnavox, the power of a computer in the palm of your hand. And Chili's Grill and Bar, home of the Big Mouth Burgers. Ready for the kickoff from Michigan. Pretty good first half for Brian Greasy. 10 out of 12, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he's run for 52 yards and completed 9 straight passes. Kick is short, 9-yard line. Chris Eberle coming up the middle of the field to the 26-yard line.
Let's go back to the touchdown. Penn State was in a blitz. These two linebackers are going to come. 2 minutes here, he's going to come. He's matched up on a small defensive back. That's Macklin. Macklin is 5'9". Watch Tubin get into the end zone. Now he just shields it. He's covered, but he's 6'5" against the defensive back who's 5'9". Greasy sees it. The offensive line gives him time to throw. And it's another good drive for the Wolverines.
And a severe case of shock right now grips the stadium. Here's Jurevicius getting loose in the short zone out around the 32-yard line, making the catch and move the football. So here is McQuarrie, who his own offensive coordinator said got a little deep happy early in the season and started to spread it around last week. And this is the kind of thing that he's going to have to work with now.
Exactly. This is what they need to do to build the confidence of McQuarrie and the rest of the offense.
2nd down and 4. There's your 1st down as Curtis Enos moves the ball to the 38-yard line where Marcus Ray gets his first tackle of the day.
Here's a look at the first 4 possessions for Penn State. They punted all 4 times, and 3 of the 4 times they were 3 plays and out. Field position never better than their own 29-yard line.
5:15 to go in the first half. McQuarrie sacked. Number 55, Deonte Jones, coming right up the middle, slipped the block and actually was shielded from McQuarrie's vision somewhat by his protector until it was too late to do anything about it.
Here's Deonte Jones right here. The defensive line is going to be twisting and gaming up front to mix up the assignments. That Williams 91 crosses and he comes around. It just mixes them up a little bit. Jim Herman, the defensive coordinator on the sideline, doing a great job. Lloyd Carr said he's going to be one of the best defensive coordinators ever at Michigan.
James Hall with another Michigan man. There's contact along the line of scrimmage. Let's see if the Wolverines trying to anticipate on McQuarrie's cadence or if somebody moves. Steele and Williams were the 2 men who made the contact for the Wolverines. Offsides against Michigan. So that's 5 yards of that 20, and it'll be 2nd down and 15. Tomorrow at 1 Eastern, noon Central, and 3 Pacific, the Thrifty Car Rental Skate America. America's Olympic hopefuls, including the '97 world champion Tara Lipinski, will be featured. That's tomorrow here on ABC. McQuarrie trying to set up a screen for Enos, and Curtis did not catch the ball. So it's just been a miserable first half for the Nittany Lions.
What Mike needs to do, McQuarrie, is just get some things going. And Joe knows it. He's a quarterback, an old quarterback from Brown University. Just make some first downs. Try and get some points on the scoreboard. Here's a look at McQuarrie. He's been knocked down. He's been hit. He's been sacked. And that's what Michigan wanted to do. Get in McQuarrie's face.
3rd and 15. From the 35. McQuarrie got away from 1 behind the line of scrimmage, gets away from Jones, and now gets rid of the ball, and it is incomplete. Almost caught by Scioli downfield, tight end. Joe Nastasi was right behind him. Joe took a shot at it, and neither could get it. And so they'll have to punt again.
Michigan gets good pressure on McQuarrie. Mike does the play action pass and does a nice job of moving around here. Just couldn't find anybody.
Russell Shaw is the deep man for Michigan, comes over and calls fair catch, and there's a penalty flag. Penn State is asking the call be made against Michigan, and let's see what it is.
I think that's going to be too close to the receiver, Keith. It seems like all of the
would have seemed the thing, yeah.
All of the breaks are going Michigan's way here in the first half.
Yep, it's against Penn State. Askari Adams came over and said something about being pushed in the back.
And that's what Joe was saying. He pushed him into it.
But the man wearing the striped shirt didn't see it that way.
Other thing is, make sure we got all right.
All right, Michigan ball out on the 32-yard line. Here's Floyd. Chris Floyd coming out of the backfield for the first time. He brought a very sore shoulder to practice this week and didn't get a lot of work. Gets his first carry in this ball game and made something out of it. Got about 9 yards.
You're right, Keith. He's a fullback. He doesn't carry the ball much. He catches it a little bit, but Brian Greasy calls him the most valuable player on offense for the things that he does, blocking for those backs, protecting the quarterback and knowing who to pick up, and then catching some passes out of the backfield.
Howard is the deep man here. Greasy's pass down the sidelines, and it's off the hands of Russell Shaw. He was home free.
Yeah, this would have been a backbreaker for Penn State. That ball is right on his fingertips. Sandusky says, let's get to the house and talk this over with and come back out in the second half.
Yeah, that could have been a will breaker there because he was loose. I mean, he was open.
2 tight ends, 1 back. Play action. That ball could have been caught, Keith.
Sure. Right off his hand. 3rd and 1. They go for the first down, and carrying is Howard, and Chris is in a big fight trying to get the first down, and I'm not sure that he made it. Ball is put down right on the 38, and that's close enough for the change. Now, if that marker across the field is in the proper position, he's going to be the length of the football at least short of the first down. Now with 3 minutes and 4 seconds to play in the first half, leading 24-0, you might sit there and ponder, will they go for it? Well, they don't have to. They got it.
He just took that decision away from him.
Yep. Don't underestimate Lloyd Carr. I mean, I know he plays a conservative brand of football, but I heard him the other day in a game say, well, now it's time to go for it.
Yeah.
Look
at this, Keith. 242 total yards to Penn State's 29.
Greasy back. Passes away. Howard's got it. Got help. Broke 1 tackle, and he's going to be good for another first down on the Penn State side of the field near the 46-yard line. Clock stops at 2:43 to go in the first half.
Bob, Keith, you know, you're talking about Lloyd Carr and taking more chances. You know, I think what really allows him to take chances is when you're 2nd and 1. You win big on first down, when you only have 1 yard to pick up for a first down. Heck, go deep every time.
They did too, Lenny, when that throw to Shaw. I know you guys like that, huh?
Oh, we love it.
This is Floyd. Fresh legs in the ball game and a big body to go with it, and he hammers his way down inside the 40 with blocking help from big old John Jensen, number 77.
That offensive line, Keith, we've been singing their praises. They're doing an outstanding job all day long. Backus 79 and Hutchinson, Adamy. Here's a look at the offensive line. Adamy is 68, the center, doesn't get through, but Hutchinson 76. He doesn't get around, but the man on the end of the line, Backus, got a good block.
Put it on the 39-yard line where it is 2nd down and a short 4. And Thomas can't go anywhere. Anthony Thomas is hit behind the line of scrimmage by that fellow right there, Brandon Short, number 43.
I'll tell you what, Brandon Short has played one heck of a ball game. Number 43 was a defensive end last year, playing out of position. He was a high school linebacker, came to Penn State. They needed him at defensive end. He played there, and now with the graduation of Flaherty, the middle linebacker, he's back to middle linebacker, doing a great job.
It is 3rd down and a full 4 yards. Greasy slipped as he started to pass. trying to set his feet, slipped out from under him, and Michigan will have to punt. The attendance today, 97,498. That is a new record and the third time it's been broken this season. 97,498. You don't think they don't like their college football in Pennsylvania?
And it's been a quiet crowd too, Keith. Joe said he hoped that the crowd could get into it, but they've been very quiet here this afternoon.
Benson is in to punt for Michigan now. Jason will hit it from around the 43-yard line, and the deep man for Penn State is Chris Everly. High, very high. That's a good kick. Forces the fair catch down around the 15-yard line. This week's Marriott moment features the work of another great Michigan defense. 1993, they welcomed Penn State to the Big Ten with an old-fashioned goal line stand into the third quarter. First and goal at the Michigan 1. 2 sneaks by Collins. 2 slams by Carter. Nothing. And the Wolverines hold on for a 21-13 win in the first meeting between these two fabled universities. Penn State to the attack now. McQuarrie getting some pressure, gets the pass away just before he's decked by Josh Williams down around the goal line. Williams, number 91, a sophomore from Houston, Texas.
Keith, I think that the story of the first half is the offensive and defensive line for Michigan. They are controlling the line of scrimmage. Williams and Steele and Renus and Hall on that defensive line and that offensive front for Michigan.
A day for my troops, the Big Uglies.
The Big Uglies, boss. You got it. Juravicius has 1 catch for 7 yards, 27 yards rushing for Enos.
Curtis with the ball. Enos, those powerful legs pumping. Is out to the 23. Picking up 8 yards on the carry. Tommy Hendricks. Marcus Ray on the tackle. Inside trying for the first down and didn't get it.
They don't get it.
They gave it to Anthony Cleary, the big fullback, 251-pounder, and he's going to be a half a yard short of his first down.
I don't know about that call, Keith. But giving the ball to Cleary, he's your blocker. I know it's you can't give it to Enos all the time, but I'd take my chances giving it to Enos with Cleary behind him. Cleary in front of him, excuse me.
It's 4th and 1. It's a short one, but it's 4th down.
Hey, students, on sale now. They'll be $19.98.
The defensive line has dominated the line of scrimmage. They've been putting pressure all afternoon. Here's the first play of the game, the fake reverse. Joaquin Fazell, number 90, with the sack. Dehani Jones, 55, with a linebacker blitz. That's the story of the ball game. Pressure on McQuarrie, and the offensive line giving Brian Greasy time to throw.
Michigan called the timeout with 48 seconds to play in the first half, forcing the punt by Penn State's Pat Pidgeon, and Charles Woodson now goes deep, standing back inside his own 35. It'll be the 6th punt of the first half for the Penn State punter, Pidgeon. Obviously, the Wolverines wanted a chance to return it. It's a low kick. Woodson's got to hope for a good bounce. It's a high bounce. Steps her into the tackler, can't get away from it, and the Lions will take him down back around the 37-yard line. Justin Kopakis was down the field to make the tackle. So a 40-yard punt and no return on that play. You've got 41 seconds remaining. Michigan with 2 timeouts remaining before halftime. Valvoline halftime 97 with John Saunders and Todd Blackledge. Coming up in about a minute or so. 37-yard line, first down. This is Chris Howard running the ball.
I'm sure what both sides, Keith, want to do here is just get to the house, talk this thing over. For Michigan, the word is, hey, we got another half to play. We might be up. Let's go out and win the second half. And for Joe Paterno in Penn State, he's going to tell him, hey, we can come back and win this game. The defense has got to shut them out. The offense come out and make some plays.
So we'll have, we're not going to mess with it. We're going to let it run out. So that's what we're going to be at halftime. Rather shocking score. Michigan 24 and Penn State nothing. And so off they go to the clubhouse to consider their circumstances in Happy Valley. Now John Saunders.
All right, Keith, and coming up on Valvoline at halftime 97, a wild one there. And Missouri also in a battle against #1 Nebraska.
Nebraska's got their hands full with a group of testy Tigers. Right now only a 4-point lead as they head to halftime.
All right, stick around. All the day's scores and highlights. It's all coming up on Valvoline halftime 97.
Valvoline Halftime 97, brought to you by Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. People who know use Valvoline. From our New York studios, John Saunders and Todd Blackledge.
Welcome, everyone. It's Judgment Day, and so far the judge has thrown Penn State in jail as they're getting trounced right now by Michigan. 24-0 the score there. #1 Nebraska also in a battle against Missouri. Scott Frost here, 17 yards he takes off for the touchdown and ties the game at 7 apiece. But Corby Jones has been just as good.
Corby Jones is having a great season. Here you see him throwing the touchdown pass. He's the leader of the Missouri offense. I knew Missouri would come out in this game and play well early.
Amon Green then, 21 yards he picks up here. Looked like he was stopped behind the line of scrimmage, but then takes off, and it sets up Amon Green one more time. This one time from 7 yards out. Nebraska grabs the lead again at 21-14. But then again, Corby Jones, 35 yards to Brock Oliva.
Corby Jones, good pass protection. They're mixing up the run and the pass just enough. And again, they've had some good things happen to him early in the ball game, playing with a lot of confidence right now as they go to halftime. 24-21, Missouri now with the lead. Now, if you take a look at the two quarterbacks, both guys are making plays in this ball game. Scott Frost getting it done, running the football, a couple running touchdowns. Corby Jones with 2 touchdown passes. It's a wild one going on in Columbia.
Unbelievable that Missouri has the lead there. Of course, the big game tonight on ESPN, Florida State against North Carolina. For more on that, let's join Chris Fowler.
Well, John, the pine trees surrounding Kenan Stadium will be shaken tonight. They've never seen a college football game this big in this state. Carolina coach Mack Brown said he's looked into the eyes of his team. He thinks they have the right look to finally get the program's first win against a top 5 team. You know, the two great defenses, so the offenses don't need an additional handicap, and they won't get it from the weather. Looks like the rain will hold off. It'll be gusty. Temperatures, though, in the high 40s. The goalposts here have been made student-proof, just in case the Tar Heels get the biggest win in program history. John?
All right, Chris, thanks a lot. That's at 7:30. How do you see that game?
Well, you can bet both those teams are watching these games going on this afternoon, but you've got two great defenses going at it tonight in Chapel Hill. I think because of that, you need offensively more options to attack a great defense. And I think right now North Carolina has more options in their offense with the mobility of Oscar Davenport and the powerful running of Jonathan Linton. I think Florida State a little too one-dimensional, counting on the passing of Thad Busby. I think North Carolina gets it done because they've got more options in their offense.
You consider what's happening this afternoon. Florida State could be playing to be #1 by the time it's 7:30 tonight. Don't forget, we started our Judgment Day fan poll last week, and right now, if Nebraska wins, most people still think the winner of Michigan-Penn State should be #1. If Nebraska loses, that goes up to 70%. You can still vote on the fan poll. Vote now on America Online, keyword ABC Sports, or on the internet at ESPN.com. Let's continue now with scores and highlights in the Pac-10. Washington facing Oregon. Washington perhaps trying to play their way up into the top 5, and Oregon is blowing them out right now, 24-6.
Well, a couple things on this game. Oregon's the last Pac-10 team to beat Washington in Seattle, and Washington playing without quarterback Brock Heward and their running back Rashawn Sheehy really under the gun right now. Southern
Miss against Tennessee. Harold Shaw, 11 yards on this touchdown run as Southern Miss gets on the board with a touchdown first. 7-3 is the score right there. Phil Fulmer and his squad find themselves down early. Right now, where they stand is Southern Miss still leading Tennessee 10-6.
Southern Miss is a tough football team for any SEC team to play. They play with a little chip on their shoulder, getting it done right now in Knoxville.
Ohio State, well, they still have their eyes set on the Rose Bowl. Facing Minnesota today, Pepe Pearson, 9 yards on the touchdown run. They jump in front early. 7-0 was the score at that point. Ohio State ranked #8 this week. Right now, this one is a 10-3 game. The Buckeyes, as I mentioned, still with their eyes on the Rose Bowl.
Yes, certainly. The last time Minnesota beat Ohio State, 1981, Glenn Mason, the coach at Minnesota, was the offensive coordinator for the Buckeyes in that game.
Kansas against Kansas State. K-State ranked #10 this week. And Gerald Eastman takes this one and takes off. 97 yards by the time he is done. Kansas State opening up a big lead at 21-9 the score at that point. Mike Bishop with 3 touchdown passes in this game. Kansas State having a terrific year, except for that Nebraska game.
Mike Bishop a little inconsistent the last couple weeks, playing well today, and they've got that great defense at Kansas State.
41-9. LSU against Alabama. Kevin Falk has a touchdown run there as LSU leads 14-0. Boston College and Syracuse. Omari Walker has a touchdown run, 10-7 there. Baylor against Texas A&M. Brandon Stewart with 3 touchdown passes. A&M wins this one big. Oklahoma State ranked #23 this week and blasting Oklahoma 23-7. Now in the Big South standings, rather the Big 12 South standings, you can see Texas A&M, Oklahoma State, and Tech still in the hunt, but Texas Tech will not go to this. They are saying they will not go to any postseason because of NCAA violations. Meantime, Bowling Green against Marshall. Chad Pennington has a touchdown pass there. Georgia Tech against Virginia right now. Virginia leading this one 21-17 at halftime. Elsewhere, Bowling Green against Marshall. Chad Pennington does have a touchdown pass there. USC over Stanford, 24-7. There's 8 seconds left right now. And Army shut out by Air Force, 24-0, the final there. Stick around. We will continue with more of Valvoline Halftime 97 right after this. This is Valvoline Halftime 97. John Saunders and Todd Blackledge. Well, Florida will not get the national championship for the second consecutive year, but they could get win number 100 for Steve Spurrier with a win over Vanderbilt today. And Doug Johnson did not start. Noah Brindise does. 44 yards to Travis McGriff. Florida wins this one, but it's closer than you might think.
Well, Brindise did all that Spurrier needed him to do. He was going to count on his defense today. Vanderbilt coming in, the last scoring offense in the SEC, only managed one touchdown against the Gator D.
In the Big Ten, Iowa against Wisconsin, and Ron Dane left the game early with an injured ankle, did not return. His backup, Eddie Faulkner, 4 yards for the touchdown. Wisconsin had a 10-0 lead, but Iowa has a chance right here to tie the game. 43-yard field goal. It misses with about 4 minutes left. Hayden Fry comes up with a loss. First time he's lost to a former assistant. Barry Alvarez gets the win.
You count on your backups being ready to play when you call upon them. Nice day for Eddie Faulkner today, 119 yards off the bench in replace of Ron Dane. On the other side of the ball, Tavian Banks, another solid game for him in a losing effort, 145 yards.
Michigan State led throughout against Purdue, but Chris Gardner missed the field goal that would have won the game with 7 seconds remaining, so Purdue comes up with a win.
Bad special teams for Michigan State. A blocked field goal return for a touchdown for Purdue. A successful onside kick set up their winning touchdown, and then the missed field goal at the end.
Adrian Autry with 111 yards. Illinois loses for the 15th consecutive time. That ties a school record as Northwestern gets the win. Colorado and Iowa State, a great game. You did not expect it to be. John Hessler here goes 30 yards to Javon Green. It puts Colorado up 37-35, but they're down again, and they go to the running back. Dwayne Charrington from a yard out takes it in, and Colorado hangs on for the win, 43-38. That shows the type of year it's been for the Bucs.
Yeah, nice comeback by Colorado. Only 13 yards in the first quarter of total offense, 466 yards in the second through fourth quarter. John Hessler hangs in there, gets the win today on the road.
Toledo loses for the first time this year, and they lose big. 35-3 is the final.
Ball State on a little bit of a roll, their fourth straight win. The story today, turnovers, 4 of them by Toledo, 2 interceptions by quarterback Chris Wallace.
Ohio U trying to get into the MAC championship game, but they lose to Miami of Ohio, 45-21 the final.
Huge day for running back Travis Prentice for Miami. Miami now has won 7 of the last 8 in this series, including the last 5 in Athens, Ohio.
In the ACC, the big game tonight on ESPN, Florida State against North Carolina, and coming up next week, it'll be Carolina against Clemson. So Clemson today knocks off Duke. 29-20 is the final there. Rutgers, 13 straight losses now. Wake Forest gets them. North Carolina State's Jamie Barnett, 293 yards passing, 2 touchdowns passing, and 1 on the ground as they blow out Maryland. Navy all over Temple, 49-17. Chris McCoy, 2 rushing touchdowns. He threw for 3 touchdowns, breaking the Navy record for career rushing touchdowns at 36. Now, in the rivalries, when you talk about great matchups, Emerson-Williams among them. The longest played, Emerson-Williams just down there, just below Yale and Harvard at number 4. And today they hooked up 48-46. Williams gets the win. Williams, Emerson, Wesleyan all tied now for the Little 3 championship. For Boston University, their final home game and possibly their final game ever. 33-8 is the final for Boston U. It is their first victory of the season, and this is a school that's going to drop football at the end of this year.
Yeah, it's a tragic situation, but a great way for those kids to go out their last game at home.
Getting a big win, 33-8. Stick around. There's still more to come. ABC's college football continues after this. Welcome back out to your second half in just a moment, but first it's time to introduce the Burger King Scholar Athlete of the Week Award. Each week during the 97 season, Burger King Corporation and its National Franchise Association will donate $1 million to the general scholarship funds of recipient colleges and universities. This week's featured scholar athlete is United States Military Academy senior David Beard. The Army offensive tackle is a dedicated student in engineering management.
You can pretty much do anything you want to as long as you're willing to put in the work. You just got to decide what's important to you and put in the effort, and you can do great things.
David Beard, the Burger King Scholar Athlete. Next Saturday on ABC's college football, North Carolina against Clemson in the ACC, Washington and UCLA in the Pac-10, Colorado against Kansas State in the Big 12, and a Big 10 matchup. Check local listings for the game available in your area and on pay-per-view. ABC Sports' presentation of college football will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
We're back at Penn State University, Happy Valley as it's known. The home team is trailing Michigan Wolverines 24-0. The game is being won by Michigan in the trenches on both sides of the ball.
There is no question, Keith, that is the case. The first play of the game, Penn State wanted to go for a big play. The defensive line shut it out. This is up to the outside. Juravicius on Woodson. The defensive line wouldn't allow it to happen.
We're now ready to kick off for the second half. Tremendous first half for Brian Greasy at quarterback for the Wolverines. Big first half for Chris Howard and Anthony Thomas. Totally in the line area for Michigan. This is Kenny Watson returning the kickoff for Penn State. And so far tonight, nothing has gone very well for the Nittany Lions on offense. Here are your halftime numbers.
There aren't many numbers on the right side. Penn State not doing a whole lot. Michigan having it quite their way. Third down conversions, 3 of 6. 3 sacks, 43 plays to 24. They've had 19 more plays in Penn State.
Football games go 60 minutes, so let's see what we shall see. McNamara turns and goes to throw it. He gets it off just as he is hit. The pass is completed out to the 25-yard line. Joe Juravicius, the man who was coming was Sam Sword, number 93.
Penn State needs to come out and on this first drive make some positive plays. First down, looks like Joe might be calling the plays. He just sent somebody in. But that play, almost being sacked McQuarrie and completing it, might keep this or get the drive going. Penn State needs to win the third quarter, Keith, and have this a 10-point or a 14-point game going in the fourth quarter.
Enos, big hole left side. First down. Ran right through 2 tacklers. Powers his way out to the 45-yard line.
If Penn State can get something going, to get the crowd back in this game. The crowd has been out of it most of the first half. Ostrowski and Blick, both offensive linemen doing a nice job, and then Enos just refusing to be tackled by the first man.
Well, they put him out short of the 45, mark him in between the 3 and the 4 there. So it'll go in the books as first down at the 44-yard line. Just starting the third quarter, 24-0, Michigan. Enos hit behind the line of scrimmage. The ball comes out. Joaquin Feazell hit him, and the ball came out. But it stays in the possession of Penn State. If you're interested in history, this is the largest halftime deficit Penn State has ever had since Joe Paterno became the coach almost 3 decades ago. The previous biggest was 21 points against Alabama in '81 and against Pittsburgh in '84.
Joe's not happy with the offensive line on that play. We're talking the offensive line coach. Paterno's calling the plays on this drive.
McQuarrie's pass is complete at the 46-yard line. Andre Weathers covering Enos, but Curtis put that big body between them.
There's Joe. He's an old quarterback. I asked him yesterday, I said, how much tape do you watch, Joe? Because if you're going to call plays, you've got to watch a lot of tape of the other team's defense, and he watches a lot of tape in his home office. Most of the time, he lets Franny Gander call, and he says, well, let me take this drive every now and then. And he's taking the first one in the third quarter.
Third down and 7. And they don't get the play off. They call a time just as the 0-0 showed up, and they give him the timeout. It could have gone 5-yard penalty, but they gave him the timeout.
There are a lot of reasons to admire Joe Paterno of Penn State, but at halftime I admired his frankness when I asked him about his team. He said, no excuses. They're beating us on the offensive line. They're beating us on the defensive line. Everything has gone perfect for them. In the second half, we just have to start making plays, Bob. Keith?
Sounds like him, doesn't it?
It sure does, and I can just hear him. He says, hey, we got our butts kicked in the first half. Everything went their way. It cannot continue to go that way. Things are good are going to happen to us. Keep the faith. Go out and score some points in the third quarter.
Enos in motion, puts him into a slot. McQuarrie back. Pressure coming, passes away. Intercepted. Marcus Ray picked it off. So they're looking down the middle for Juravicius, and Marcus Ray steps in front of it, and Michigan gets the football. Its first possession of the second half will come at its own 48-yard line.
Let's take a look at the interception. He's trying to get it in here. The man, an interception's right here, but let me show you something. When he gets up there, let's stop it right here. Look at the receiver over here. He's wide open. The defensive back fell down. If he would have thrown it to the other side, he would have had a touchdown.
Scioli was all alone.
All alone down the middle.
This is a fake to Howard. Greasy rolls out and lets it go downfield for Woodson, and it's overthrown. Pretty good coverage, actually, on him that time. Sean Lee and Jason Collins had gone down the field with him.
It was good coverage, Keith, and a nice call. Got a turnover, go for something big. Charles Woodson in the first half sneaks in, goes in for the touchdown. Coverage, Juravicius jumps, and so does Woodson. A nice play knocks it away.
And it's second down and 10 for the Wolverines at their own 48-yard line. Greasy gives the ball to Howard, running up the middle. Howard is collared by Aaron Collins, and Collins takes him down after a 4-yard gain. Temperatures right around 40 degrees, maybe 38 now, and the rain has left us alone for a time, and the field actually has held up very well. That is Marcus Ray's 5th interception of the season, and the team's 19th. So that tells you something about this defensive front. They're tough. Greasy back, gets the pass off. Pass is caught by Chris Howard, and he's running for the marker and appears to have it.
And that's a big play for Chris Howard. Brian got him the ball, but it was short of the first down, and he refused to be tackled and drugged the defender and picked up a first down where if he hadn't have gotten it, they were punting the ball away.
We'll put it at the Penn State 41. 11 and a half minutes to play in the third quarter. 24-0 Michigan. Yes, if you're sitting down, 24-0. We just turned the television set on. Anthony Thomas trying to fight for yardage over the left side and didn't quite get back to the line of scrimmage. Chris Howard and Anthony Thomas were both lined up in the backfield that time. Thomas had a pretty good half, but nobody had a half for Michigan like the two lines, and from the skill position perspective, Brian Greasy had an enormous first half.
It was very impressive. Brian had the leadership, moving the ball around, took care of it. Michigan scored on 4 of their 6 possessions in the first half.
Campbell, the tight end, steps back, and you get some movement along the front. It might have been Zeman wiggling a little bit. And as a result, it could be a 5-yard penalty against the Wolverines. This is the kind of little ticky-tack penalty stuff that Lloyd Carr just goes berserk over, and they have made so many over this season.
They're last in the Big Ten, or they're the most penalized. Here's a look at the quarterbacks. Brian, 12 of 16, 2 touchdowns. Mike not doing quite as well, just through the interception to start the second half.
On second down and 15, Howard finds a little daylight over the right side, runs it inside the 40 down to the 39-yard line. Brandon Short, one more tackle.
Brandon Short has had the week off. He had a sprained ankle. We mentioned it in the first half 3 weeks ago against Ohio State, and has been all over the field. Led the team in tackles in the first half and has been everywhere.
Woodson is back. He's going to be to the bottom of your picture now in the slot position to the near sideline. Number 2. Out of the shotgun on 3rd down and 9. The pass is thrown and dropped. The pass was right on the hands of Ty Streets. And Streets has a dislocated finger on one hand, a dislocated thumb on the other hand, and he just hadn't made many catches.
That's exactly right, Keith. He's had some problems with his hands. He went up there and he fought it. That ball he could have caught in his stomach. Didn't have to catch it in his hands.
So they have to punt now on 4th down. But that ball was right on his numbers. Vincent punting for Michigan. Wants to get it high and hang it up there. And that's a tail dragger. If they don't get to it quickly, they got a chance to kill it deep, and they do. Down at the 3-yard line. Deonnie Jones waiting for the bounce. 37-yard punt. Just exactly what he wanted. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. By Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. By Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. People who know use Valvoline. And Circuit City, answers in every department, low prices all over the store. Penn State football first down at their 3-yard line. They've had 7 possessions, 6 punts, and 1 interception. Their deepest penetration to the Michigan 41-yard line. 24-0, they trail. Jurevicius goes in motion. Give the ball to Enos. He's tripped up at right about the goal line. Number 58, Rob Rennis, the nose tackle, got a piece of him, but Curtis Ennis is so strong that he didn't really get down on the ground until he had gotten almost to the 7-yard line.
If you're a Nittany Lion fan, Keith, you won't want to hear this graphic. Michigan in the second half has allowed no touchdowns all season. No fourth quarter points, and only 9 points, and those were all scored on 3 field goals in the third quarter.
Eric Cole has come into the offensive front now for Penn State. He's been banged up, but they need him right now. And back goes McQuarrie to throw. The pass is away, and it's thrown out of bounds, incomplete. Looked to be something of a mix-up. Titkus Pettigrew was on a fly down the sidelines, and Brad Scioli, the tight end, and the ball was sort of between them.
There's a few boos going around, but he has to throw this. He's in his own end zone, and he doesn't. The guy's not covered, and he doesn't want to get sacked. There's 2 Michigan players near him. He did the smart thing in just getting rid of it. He didn't have the defensive man fooled. The receiver wasn't open. Get rid of it.
3rd down and 6 for the Lions from their own 7. McQuarrie back. They're after him, and they've got him. Josh Williams chased him right into the arms of Steele, and they take him down at the 5-yard line. And Pigeon will come on and punt out of his end zone.
Williams and Steele have been racking havoc all day long. A little cross. There's 91. That's Williams. He's slanting, and there's no place for Mike to go. Just down.
So Pat's in there to kick. Got to be careful he doesn't step too far back. Step out of the end zone. That's a safety. Russell Shaw standing back at the Penn State 45 waiting for it. Good kick. Shaw's got a little room. He may, fumbled it, picked it up. Ball bounced right back to him, and then he's taken down about the 39-yard line. So his eagerness to run the ball almost cost him. Well, tonight at 7:30, it's Judgment Day Part 2 down in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, as the vaunted Florida State Seminoles come rolling in to face a North Carolina team that truly, genuinely believes they can beat the Seminoles.
Well, the thing that notices me, look at the bottom. North Carolina has never beaten a top 5 team.
That's at 7:30 tonight.
I think they got a
Eastern
chance.
time on ESPN.
I think Carolina's got a chance because they can rush the passer and they can cover those wide receivers.
Ron Franklin and Mike Gottfried and company are down there for that ball game. Here comes Michigan to the attack now, going from the 39-yard line. And it's Chris Floyd hanging his way down for a couple of 3 yards before Sean Lee makes the tackle.
You know, Keith, Bob, I talked to Carr coming out from the second half, and he said he wants his team to think of this as a 0-0 ball game. But before the game, his assistant coaches told me the one thing Lloyd Carr has done better than they've ever seen him do before is get his ball club prepared for each ball game. He's been phenomenal, Keith.
Certainly has today. 2nd down and 8. This is over to the left side with Chris Howard. And Howard is down to around the 30. Depends on the spot. He could have a first down on that carry. But I may break all the rules. I did it a long time ago and I got yelled at by everybody. But I picked one time an entire line as the most valuable player. I might take a risk again tonight.
You remember which line that was?
Yeah, it was an offensive line.
Well, that's how you got to like the big uglies.
That's how I got in trouble.
Yeah.
They didn't quite have the first down. On 3rd and short, they punch it in there, and they've got their first down. So the Wolverines are sitting now at the Penn State 29. They stick it in the end zone here, and that mountain is a lot higher than Mount Nittany. Chris Howard having a big night.
With 4 receptions for 41 yards. That's just a normal day for him. He mentioned he leads the team in receptions and in rushing.
This is Howard. There he goes. Oh, my goodness. Touchdown. 29-yard touchdown run for Chris Howard.
The offensive line, Keith, doing a great job. 2 tight ends that time. Howard stretching it to the sideline. And Michigan has got to feel pretty good right now because they came out, they scored first in the second half, and that's going to be a big confidence boost and really a deflator for Penn State.
Could be a will breaker. Baker's kick is good. So at 6 minutes and 42 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter, Michigan 31, Penn State nothing. It's a bit of a stunning score, I'll give you that. 31-0 Michigan. There's agony in the big house on the hill in Happy Valley right now. Ball bounces down to the 4-yard line for Chris Eberle. He's got some room up the middle. A penalty flag comes flying in to the chase. And let's see about the call. Jim Augustine is the umpire, and Tom Ransom is the linesman. John Parry the line judge. David Whitvote the referee. It's against Penn State.
It's one of those days, Joe.
And it's raining again.
Yeah. Let's go back and look at that touchdown from the end zone. Watch the right side of the screen. Jansen the tackle, 77. 88 is Campbell. Jansen 77. Campbell doesn't get a block, but the defensive man ran around him. And Streets 86 is down there just getting in the way. A lot of the defensive guys, Keith, were running around blocks instead of fighting through them.
Give you the rest of the officials. Field judge is Darrell Leftwich. Side judge is Danny Freund. And the back judge is Perry Paganelli. So now, the Lions send Nastasi into the field, and Mike McQuarrie walks off the field calling a timeout. So something was wrong, and he decides to go over and see what to do about it. Nastasi came in late, and I don't think there was enough time left on the clock. I think that basically was the reason. Like Bob said, there just ain't nothing going right today for the Lions. The Lincoln Mercury Kapalua International Golf Tournament is tomorrow live at 3 Eastern Time, noon Pacific. Final round. The official PGA season's about over. Davis Love having a good tournament over in Hawaii.
You put that music together with the word Kapalua, and it just kind of relaxes
You
me.
can smell the breeze and see the pond.
They're great shots from that golf tournament. I know you didn't watch any of it.
They're the loons.
Yeah. Well, for Penn State, Keith, offensively, you need to get on the board. And this is not a good place to start from inside your own 15-yard line. They've had poor field position all day long.
Absolutely. Been very poor position all day. Swing it outside to Curtis Enos, trying to give him a little room to get started, but now Michigan has the luxury of a 31-0 lead, and they can really gang up on Curtis. Fiesel's had a good ball game. He was involved right from the very beginning, got the first sack of the ball game.
And that was a big play, Keith, as we
was.
document. I think the other big play was the roughing the passer on Michigan's first drive of the game. It was 3rd and 15. It gave them a first down, and they went on down to kick a field goal. I think that set the tone for the ball game.
2nd down and 7 now. McQuarrie gives to Enos. And they're just trying to grind it up the field to give themselves a little room to operate, but that one is going to expire at the line of scrimmage with Sam Sword involved.
We've been talking about the defensive line, the line of scrimmage. Renas 58 goes around the center, and Sword runs right through the huge gaping opening. It's speed and quickness for Michigan, and strength. Those guys up front, Steele and Williams and Renas, are 3 of the strongest guys you'll find anywhere.
Curtis pass, thrown hard, caught by Juravicius just as Marcus Ray laid a lick on him, but Joe made the catch. However, the force of the Marcus Ray hit stops him from getting a first down.
Juravicius hasn't caught many passes today, and this is going to be one that we wish he hadn't caught. If you don't make a first down, that's only the 3rd reception for him today.
Lions have to punt. Joe's head's ringing. And Pigeon's kick is a bit short. It's going to bounce sideways and go on out of bounds at about the 41-yard line. But once again, the Michigan Wolverines will have good field position.
too, boy. Hey, you all right? Hey, that bad boy out.
Here's a look at Michigan defense today. Penn State's had 9 possessions, 75 total yards, 8 punts and 1 interception. 5 times they've been 3 plays and out.
So far, it's been an utterly dominating game by Michigan.
No question.
Miserable day for the redhead from State College, who stayed home to go to school. This is Chris Floyd, turning the corner. Look out. This big guy can rock and roll when he gets going.
Keith, as good as the Michigan defense has been, Penn State has been just that bad because they are not controlling the line of scrimmage. They're missing tackles. The defensive backs are allowing guys to catch balls when they have them covered for touchdowns, but they just feel they got position on them, and they're not making plays.
First down, Wolverines at the Nittany Lions 46-yard line. Michigan having run for 203 yards so far in the ball game. And not much there for Chris Floyd this time. Reaches for 2, and we reach to John Saunders.
Keith, no doubt a surprise that Michigan is rolling over Penn State. How about Nebraska against Missouri? Scott Frost, the pitch to Ahman Green. He fumbles it. Missouri recovers. Second time Nebraska was marching in and turned the ball over. Now Missouri is marching in Nebraska territory, leading 24-21. Keith.
Oh.
Okay, John, thank you. Well, Larry Smith is having a year of his life. Some story. I remember not so long ago that play over the right side with Anthony Thomas, having dinner over here at the Center Hills Country Club with Larry and Cheryl Smith when Larry was unemployed. And Joe was helping him sort things out and decide whether or not he wanted to stay in coaching. And obviously he did. He got the job at Missouri, and you see what he's done.
If he takes Missouri on and beats Nebraska, or even gets close with that Judgment Day poll that we've been doing, and Michigan wins, where do you think Michigan
first
jumps?
place?
Huh?
Got to go to first place. Unless Florida State lays a lick on North Carolina tonight. That pass is away, and it's completed to Anthony Thomas. And Thomas will go rolling down at the 25-yard line. You see, Florida State is sitting higher than Michigan in the polls, and if the Seminoles can handle the Tar Heels, then they're going to be #1. I think. I don't know. I don't pay much attention to polls. I think this whole poll thing is nothing but marketing anyway.
It's good. It's good for college football. It gets people talking.
It's marketing. That's right.
It's good. It's all the different polls, and no matter which one you read or believe, I still think there should be some strength of schedule in those things.
Absolutely. This is Thomas. And that big freshman is inside the 20-yard line. He's getting a block from Chris Seaman. Incidentally, a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned something about the Gannett Publishing attorney questioning the plan to use the coaches poll in this composite at the end of the season. And they had said to the Football Writers Association and whomever else was involved that you can't have it because we have paid a licensing fee to use it. So you don't just take it, you've got to come talk to us about it. And so far, the composite poll does not exist. Here's a loss on the play, and Kripakis is the man who comes up and makes the tackle.
It contains it, Keith. That's what they have not been doing all day. Michigan has been getting outside, and that time Kripakis contains it and makes the play.
He's a pretty good football player, too. He's what, a freshman?
He's a redshirt freshman.
From Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking player.
He's probably a linebacker playing defensive end.
Oh, right.
Because they don't need him at linebacker now. But once Nelson leaves and Collins leaves, you may see 37 at linebacker.
Number 2's back, folks. Greasy back to throw, looking down the middle. That's where 2 is. He goes the other way, and nobody there. That time, Woodson drew double coverage. The previous time they ran that play, those 2 defenders left him alone, and he walked into the end zone. This time, 2 guys went with him.
Yeah. There we go. Here's a look at Woodson. Collins is on him. And then there's another guy outside
Number
the frame.
4 was over there with him, too. Derek Fox. 42-yard field goal try now for Craig Baker. He's made a 29-yarder earlier, the opening score of the game. A lot of leg. And he got it. So the world is the oyster for the Michigan Wolverines. 34-0 with 1 minute and 3 seconds to play in the third quarter. Monday night on ABC, the bad boys of Magic, Penn and Teller, show their specialized brand of amazing trickery in Penn and Teller's Home Invasion Magic. There will be a special guest appearance by Drew Carey and Mimi. And on Monday night football, the 49ers will be over in Philadelphia against the Eagles. San Francisco, that's at 9 Eastern Time, 6 Pacific on ABC television. That's kind of a funny story. Ray Rhodes says he was fined and the NFL says he wasn't.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'd be cancel that check, Ray. Low lining kick goes right through the legs of the shortstop down at the 4-yard line and beyond the field of play. It'll come out to the 20. Kenny Watson didn't get the glove down on that one. Yep, E6. Put it on the 20. It's a very quiet, big old stadium. A record crowd of 97,498, and they're just stumped.
And Michigan came in and quieted them down right from the start.
That pass was thrown in the direction of Concho Brown and misses a little bit behind him. Either that or he had turned the wrong way, and once again we've got a light rain falling.
Query has not played well the last few games, Keith. He started out great the first 4 games, and then the last few games has not done as well. And Franny Ganner was saying yesterday he was looking for the deep pass, and he was looking for Jurevicius to not put down. These type of conditions now where the rain's coming down, it's tough because the ball's going to be wet. It's going to be flying over everywhere.
Here's your reverse with Chaffee Fields coming back into traffic and being taken down at the 25. And so they'll be looking at 3rd down and 5 with Deonne Jones making the tackle.
Joe Paterno, the biggest defeat at home. 1984 to Pitt. I think that might be in danger here today.
The worst was back in '66 when they lost to UCLA. I mean, that was a game I think I might have done out on the West Coast. That ball is thrown to Joe Brown. It's intercepted. It was intended for Concho Brown, and now they wave it.
Knocked it out, yeah.
10 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter, and Penn State will go to the punt. Pigeon gets it out. Oh, that's a good kick. Woodson takes it and goes down at about the 29-yard line. And 2 ticks remain on the 3rd quarter clock as the Michigan offense returns to the field. The way the defense is playing, Michigan almost surely has enough points. Now,
I think Michigan, all they want to do is just take time off the clock now, Keith. It's one of those days.
They go to Madison, Wisconsin next week. Penn State will go to Purdue, and both Purdue and Wisconsin won close, tough games today. With Wisconsin beating Iowa up at Madison.
Did I hear somewhere where Ron Dane was injured in that ball game?
I didn't hear that. I don't know. Chris Howard carries, and we have played 3 quarters with Michigan leading 34-0. We'll be back after this word from our ABC station.
This is college football on ABC Sports.
We go to the final quarter of play at State College, Pennsylvania. 34-0. Michigan leading Penn State. It'll be 2nd down and 2 for the Michigan Wolverines. The ball is just outside their own 38-yard line. They send it into the middle, and a second effort, no, not enough. So they'll go down at the 39-yard line, and it'll be 3rd down and 1. Big night for Brian Greasy.
The average starting position, Michigan has had the best of it all day long.
Oh, they really have, haven't they? Amazing.
38-yard line for Michigan, and Penn State has not had good field position. Plus, they've been going against that tough defense.
On 3rd and 1, they give it to Chris Howard, who's been a workhorse tonight, and Chris will pick up the 1st down as he gets out to the 41-yard line. Ron Dane did suffer a sprained right ankle in the ball game against Iowa today, Wisconsin's big back. And they x-rayed him and it was negative, but it is a considerable sprain, we're told. So at least he'll be tender if he's able to play at all against the Wolverines next Saturday. Ball thrown right on the numbers to big old Mark Campbell, the tight end.
Michigan has 3 tight ends. Campbell had a big day last week, and Brian likes all 3 of them.
Well, he's 6'6", 253 pounds. It's like throwing the ball at an oak tree.
It's a big target.
Did you ever have anybody that big to throw the ball to?
Oh, an offensive lineman. I didn't. Not in any big tight ends.
No, you didn't have any big
No,
tight
I had
ends.
smaller tight ends.
Mandich was
I had a
the biggest
Michigan
guy,
tight
huh?
end named Jim Mandich.
Yeah.
He could catch, but he couldn't block. He couldn't block. He couldn't block his system.
That's another Michigan 1st down. And here's John.
Keith, Nebraska and Missouri. Scott Frost trying to lead the Cornhuskers back. This time, again with the fake, he keeps it, tries to stretch across, gets it down to the goal line, and from there he would take it in a play later. That was not a fumble, of course, he was already down. But Nebraska grabs the lead. Missouri's in their territory again, though.
A lot of people. Nebraska's got a lot of folks to run at you. Can wear you out. Greasy back, wanted to go deep and throws too high, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Aaron Shea. And Aaron's liable to come back and say, him. Throw it sooner and I can make the catch.
Well, I've heard that a few times. And I'm sure Brian will tell him something like, I was just throwing it away.
2nd down and 10. We might refresh your memory that collision, that violent collision we had between Bob Stevenson and Adrian Taylor. Both of them came off the field. Both have been checked, and we understand both have been cleared for the doctor. This is a handoff into the middle, and Chris Howard keeps pounding away and is going to wind up with a pretty good gain of about 6 yards.
This has been a physical game, Keith. When you come to the Big Ten, you're going to get physical play. This was a big play early in the game that got Michigan going.
This was also the significant in the last time that 2 undefeated Big Ten teams met this late in the season was back in 1973. When Ohio State and Michigan played to a 10-10 tie, and the ADs voted the Buckeyes the Rose Bowl trip, and Michigan stayed home. That pass is incomplete. It was thrown to Aaron Shea right in front of Ascari Adams, and Aaron couldn't quite keep a hand on the handle. Whoops, right through the arms. The field is held up beautifully. We thought there might be some trouble because it had about 2.5 inches of rain earlier over the last week, and the field was not covered until Thursday. But it's held up very well. 4th down, Wolverines punting. It is their fourth punt tonight. Benson hits it straight up. He wants to do that. He wants to kill it deep. Penn State comes up and makes a fair catch. He didn't get it very deep, though. The Lions will get the ball first down at their own 18-yard line with 12 minutes and 4 seconds to play in the game.
Talk about great family nights out at the place.
(34-0) Michigan. Fourth quarter, 12 minutes and 4 seconds to play. Joe's hands are in his pocket now. He's forgotten all about the rain and everything else. He's thinking about next week.
Yeah, he knows the outcome.
There's a pretty good sized play right here with Curtis Enos carrying, getting it out to the 35-yard line and a first down for the Nittany Lions. The Home Depot coaches fact. Look at the work of Joe Paterno, going from the decade of the 50s to 97. Back in the 50s, it cost $3. Today, it costs $30 to go to a game. Beaver Stadium seated 11,000, now 97,000. We had a record crowd today. There's a penalty flag on that play. So all manner of things have happened during the course of time that he's been here. The president was Truman when he came here. The president obviously now is President Clinton. He's been involved in 400 of Penn State's 713 wins, either as an assistant or a head coach. And
this is his big house. He was telling us yesterday, before he leaves, he wants to get all of the facilities up to speed comparable to the other teams in the Big Ten. So when he leaves Penn State, they'll leave it in the first class. It's pretty good shape right now. Yes,
it certainly is. McQuarrie throws to the sideline. The pass is caught by Anthony Cleary, and Anthony is out of bounds at the 40. They need 5 more, and let's get another update from John.
Keith, it's the Burger King play of the day. Nebraska and Missouri, and Corby Jones having an outstanding day. Drops back, looks to his left, nothing doing. Takes off to the right, gets nailed at the goal line, and still gets in for the touchdown. Missouri on top of Nebraska once again, 31-28. Keith.
Wow. Won't quit, will it?
Hello.
That's in the third quarter still. Second down and 4. This is Curtis Enos. That's a first down, and the big guy now starting to put some numbers up. But they will be deceptive because the issue has been decided.
Enos, Joe has always said, I want my number 1 running back fresh in the fourth quarter. Well, they were blowing people out early in the season, and he didn't get to carry the first 4 games. He got no carries in the fourth quarter. The last 3 games, he has turned it up. But Michigan has also been up to the task in the fourth quarter.
Got 86 yards on 14 carries. Michigan has not allowed a point in the fourth quarter so far this season. There's Enos again, and he's taken down. Is it Rennis or is it, no, it's James Hall, 55.
Well, Keith, I'm glad you and Bob brought up the fourth quarter information, because right now I think for the Michigan defense, they're playing a game within the game. They've stated it's one of their goals to shut the opponent out in the fourth quarter. Now they're sitting on a 34-0 win. They still do not want to give up the points here. And this Penn State team knows that. They've been looking towards the fourth quarter as the deciding quarter. It's not that, but they can grab a small victory if they can score.
Good point, Len. And there are no substitutes in that Michigan defense right now, I can tell you. They're all starters.
McCurry is going to go down. Yes. He lost the ball, didn't he? Or did he?
I don't know. It looks like
somebody was diving for a ball around the 45, but I guess not.
The Michigan defensive line just dominating the offensive line. Renas is 58, getting a little penetration up the middle, which flushes him and gets a part of him immediately. And then Williams is there, and Hall puts him down.
That's 5 sacks by the Wolverines. It'll be 3rd down and 19 now. Chaffee Fields is out there. He'll be one of the wideouts toward the near side at the bottom of the picture. Passes away for Fields. He makes the catch. He's a running back playing at wide receiver. And they've stopped him short of the first down by about a yard or so. Might be 4th down country. I mean, the 4 down area here. I mean, why not?
Yeah, why not? Is right. This Michigan defense, Keith, has given up 1 touchdown pass in all season. That's in every game. They've given up 1 touchdown pass and have picked off 19 interceptions. They've had 19 interceptions, 1 touchdown pass for that defense. They are dominant.
They're going on 4th and 1.
Outside the pocket.
Where he can run for it and chooses to lob it instead and gets his first down out of it, I think. Oh, it's close.
Depends where they mark it.
I think he's got it. Pettigrew was in between Wolverines. And they may want to measure. Oh, my goodness, that'll get your china closet quaking. They got it. Penn State right now has a lot of second unit people in the offensive line, like Josh Mitchell and Stankiewicz, Bright, and Eric Cole out, Kareem McKenzie, the big freshman. He's 6'7", 305 pounds from Willingboro, New Jersey.
Yeah, they've got 2 true
We'll
freshmen.
hear about him.
2 true freshmen, McKenzie and Caruso.
This is Enos. Oh, look at that quickness. He's trying to fourth quarter him, and he's moving on down toward the Michigan goal line. And Jim Herman walking up and down the sidelines. His bunch has not given up a point, remember, in the fourth quarter.
Enos has not given up. I mean, this kid is a great kid, Keith, and he will not quit. He's got 3 true freshman offensive linemen ahead of him now, and he's running just as hard as he ever has.
Goes again. And the Wolverines are not giving him easy yards. They're whacking him. 3 of them hit him on that play. The first one was Deontay Jones.
And I think one of them was a little late.
Yeah, Hendricks might well have been. So it's a personal foul call against Michigan. And that's going to really put Penn State down to knock on the door. Enos now with 17 carries and 102 yards.
Personal foul against Michigan. They will move it half the distance to the goal. First down, Penn State.
He moved up the notch a bit there, you can see, with 102 yards, passing Matt Suey.
A lot of numbers on there, aren't there?
Yep. A lot of real estate covered. The ball is just on the 10 now. The ball inside, actually, with the rear of it facing 10. Cordell Mitchell is in the backfield with Enos. And it's Mitchell. He's right for the goal line. He sort of ran over Charles Woodson there. He bit Woodson backwards in order to get it down near the goal line. So it's going to be second down and goal from less than a yard. Most of the ball is inside the 1 yard hash mark. Oh, Michigan did not have their little record in the fourth quarter. Scarred here.
And out of time.
Play clock. And McQuarrie, rather than give up the 5 yards at this point, spent the timeout. That's their last one.
How about
Six minutes and 16 seconds remaining. Penn State, having won 3 in a row over the Michigan Wolverines, going to lose this one. The other Michigan victory came here too. The first time they played back in '93. This is Enos. So Curtis Enos pounds into the end zone, and Michigan has now been scored on in the '97 season.
Curtis Enos has a lot of pride, and the one thing he can say is, hey, let's take it down and break that record. Let's put 7 points on the board in the fourth quarter against this team. That's one thing we can get out of this. He was proud of it and happy for that offensive line.
They'll try for 2. 13 touchdowns for Curtis Enos. Still having a great year.
We got an injury.
He'll come out of this a little wiser too.
Yeah, he started out the year just on fire and then has cooled down a little bit. They faced a superior defensive team here today.
They will go for 2 here just for practice. Michigan with all of its times out remaining, and Penn State now none remaining. The other big game tonight, the Battle of the Unbeatens, is in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, with the Tar Heels hosting the Seminoles of Florida State.
You know, the Seminoles,
7:30.
They'll know the outcome of this game, obviously.
Yep.
And they'll also know that either Nebraska is certainly a struggle today or maybe getting beat.
Yep.
So if they win down there and win big, they could be one.
It's good. Thrown to Curtis Enos. So it is Michigan 34, Curtis Enos 8. At 6:12 to play in the game. presentation of college football, brought to you by Jeep, makers of the Jeep Grand Cherokee, Cherokee, and Wrangler. By the Home Depot, America's home improvement coach. By Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. A dominating performance for the Michigan Wolverines, as Penn State, having just scored a touchdown and a two-point conversion, will kick off. Nebraska struggling today. In your rankings as we came into this day, we're Nebraska, Florida State, Michigan, and North Carolina, and Penn State and Michigan. Ball is out of bounds. That'll be 35-yard line for the Wolverines if they want to take it up there. And while they're sorting that out, let's go to John.
Keith, we told you Peyton Manning had a rough first half against Southern Miss. He's coming back now, 5 yards here to Jermaine Copeland for the touchdown. Peyton Manning has thrown for a couple of touchdowns. He's also rushed for a touchdown, 21 of 34 for 219 yards, as Tennessee has a 2-touchdown lead over Southern Miss. Meanwhile, Nebraska and Missouri. Nebraska's just kicked a field goal, tied up at 31 apiece. Keith.
And they've got 10 and a half minutes to play in the final quarter. Tom Brady has come in at quarterback now for Michigan. They take the ball where it went out of bounds, up at the 48-yard line. So Brady is going to get some snaps now and get a little seasoning for his future. Into the right side of the line, and now we have the field flooded with substitutes as the Wolverines coaches are substituting freely. But Lloyd Carr made this comment about his football team a couple of days ago, and I thought it perhaps revealed the feeling of the whole unit. Let's listen to it.
Well, I think the chemistry is outstanding on this team. I think we've done a good job in terms of, as a team, being selfless. We don't worry about who's getting the stats, who's getting, you know, their name in the paper, who's going to be All-American. I think it's been a very selfless team.
Get a bunch of guys who've got talent going at that emotional level, that kind of respect for each other, and they're hard to handle. And it appears right now for all to see that these Wolverines are going to be hard to handle.
I think Carr's done a great job this year.
Go, what?
First 2 years were 8-4. He came in here and he's got the Wolverines on top of the Big Ten. They're 6-0. They'll go to Wisconsin next week. And Purdue is right there. And Penn State visits Purdue next week. That'll be a key game also.
Certainly will for their position in the bowl structure. Brady slipped a little bit as he was setting up trying to throw, and he is knocked down back around the original line of scrimmage by Maurice Daniel.
Tom Brady was out for about a month with a appendicitis. He had an appendectomy and went to the hospital one night and went to the front door. It was about 3 in the morning. He went to the front door and it was locked, so he went home.
Oh my goodness.
Instead of going to the emergency.
Here's the punt by Vinson. High hanging kick. Everybody bunches up around it, and the ball's going to roll around and roll dead down around the 23-yard line. 4:06 to play in the ball game, and it has been a bit of a shocker. Well, they started this competition back in '93. Michigan won the first one here. Then Penn State ran off 3 in a row, and now Michigan has won its second also here. And Penn State goes to the attack now. The pass is thrown, and it is incomplete up at the 40-yard line for Peter Pettigrew. We're running out the clock, as a matter of fact, in this ball game. Marcus Ray defending on that play. And the string has been broken for no scoring in the fourth quarter, so Ray comes out and other defenders are coming out. It was a brilliant night for the people who play in the trenches for Michigan. Tackle to tackle, both sides of the ball. The first half, however, it was particularly outstanding performance from Brian Greasy that rolled out to a 24-0 lead for the Wolverines, and they never looked back. Penalty flags on the field. Penalty is against Penn State. Next Saturday, live at 3:30 Eastern, the biggest road show in America rolls on. We will have Michigan at Wisconsin for those of you in the Big Ten country. North Carolina at Clemson, Washington, and UCLA. A very big ball game in the Pac-10. And with the Rose Bowl on the line, and the Huskies, when last we heard, were being beaten by Oregon. UCLA off and healing, and the Bruins are very much in the hunt for the Rose Bowl spot. That was Cordell Mitchell carrying on that play. So you'd want to check your local listings for the games in your area for next Saturday.
And the Rose Bowl spot for the Big Ten is wide open.
It still is, yes.
And a lot of teams with one loss. Michigan is the inside track with no losses. They play Wisconsin there, and then they're home against Ohio State in 2 weeks.
Query scrambling, and Mike will get it out to about the 30-yard line. So as we begin to clean this one up, let me tell you that our coordinating producer of ABC's college football is Tony Tortorisi. Today's game produced by Jay Rothman. Send all your cards and letters to him, please. Directed by Chip Dean. Our technical director, Gary Larkins. Associate producer, Margaret Schaefer. Associate director, Fred King. Production director, Scott Silberman. Technical operations manager, Jim Licata. This will be the 10th punt of the ball game for Penn State. And the folks are going home now. High kick, fair caught, dropped, and covered at the 24-yard line by Michigan. James Whitley, one of the freshmen, almost lost it. It's Michigan ball now as we run out the clock at Beaver Stadium, Penn State University. First down for the Wolverines. The quarterback is Scott Reisbach, who's back now, recovered from a hand injury and getting some playing time as well. And it's Patrick McCall carrying on that play. The Penn State defenders, those who have played much of the game, obviously kind of worn out now, and it's just a matter of letting the clock roll along. Let me pay our respects to the other ladies and gentlemen who've helped us today. Assistants to the producer, Chapman Downs and Jason Lewis. Our statistician is Mark Cometto. Spotter, Kelly Hayes. Computer stats, Craig Rothberg. Our sideline coordinator, Dick Schefter. And that noble, stout fellow down on the field suffering through the elements, Lynn Swan. He's held up magnificently. He'll be home in a little while, too. You know. College football today produced by Charles Copeland. And look out. This is Ray Jackson, who's come off injury himself, getting some playing time and a big gain and a first down. College football today directed by Calvin Haywood. Our technical director, Gary Boyarsky. The New York remote coordinator, Bruce Clark.
Hey, Keith.
Yes, sir.
Bob, I wanted to share a quote with you from Joe Paterno's press conference. Listen to this. He says, I think that young Greasy is probably very similar to his dad in that he is tough mentally and physically. He is smart. He has a great feel for the game. He is not interested in how many passes he completes or to whom he completes them. He is more interested in just getting the football moved down the field and uses all of the things he has with him. And in all honesty, Bob, I think he's a little bit better than you are.
Yeah, but you didn't.
I agree, Swanee. I agree.
You didn't read the last part of that, or the part that I heard. And Joe said it tongue-in-cheek. He says, and besides all that, I think Brian's a little bit smarter than his dad because his dad's in TV.
It's also worth remembering that the old man is 51 years old, too.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
You can't throw it as far as you used to. That's what. But he had the lowest golf score in the family this summer.
Yes, and I was proud to tell him that, and he was not happy to hear that.
We are now at 38 seconds to play in the ball game. We are going to take those of you watching to the finish of Nebraska, Missouri, just as soon as the time expires here. And we wrap this one. We'll show you the finish of Nebraska, Missouri, and it's 31-31 tie, last I heard. So we've got a player from Penn State shaken up and hurt on the play. Here are your Chevrolet most valuable players of the game. Brian Greasy from Michigan, 14 out of 22, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. He gained 46 yards on 5 carries, and his father did not have a vote. The most valuable player is Curtis Enos for Penn State. Curtis had 18 carries for 103 yards and a touchdown and a 2-point conversion catch. Chevrolet donating $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for academic achievements. It's been a Chevy tradition for more than a quarter of a century.
45-yard line.
And since Joe Paterno is a great fan of Winston Churchill and often is heard to quote him in the talks he makes to young people and old people as well, I reminded him yesterday that there are times in your life when this old Churchill line will serve you well, and this is one of those days. Success is the ability to go from failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm.
And he said, geez, I'm glad, I hope I don't ever experience that.
He just got half of it today.
Yes, he did.
But he'll wear it well. He's done it before, and he'll do it tomorrow. And so will his football players. Jason Kapsner is in there at quarterback now, so most everybody who made the trip got a chance to play in the ball game, and it was a resounding and in effect a glorious victory for Michigan as they hit the road to win a big one at Penn State. Michigan 34, Penn State 8. Now John.